Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy live sew along. We are going to be creating today an FPP t-shirt using the TenCowQuilts FPP pattern. So if you don't have that pattern, you want to head over to Etsy. I have the link in the details for you to go and grab that pattern. We are going to, if we have some time, we are going to talk a little bit about applique, which is something that I am enjoying adding to my different types of apparel projects. But I'm hoping if you are joining me this morning, you will pop in and say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. My name is Genevieve. This is my channel, Thunderbird Handcrafted with Genevieve. I am a fiber artist, primarily started with hand dyeing and ice dyeing fabrics. And then we've grown into this small little fabric shop that focuses on eco-friendly, US printed, and supporting small artists. So I am very excited to share this tutorial with you today because it is literally probably the most requested video I've been asked to do this year. Every time I would share that I'm doing FPP, as you've noticed over the past couple of months, I've shared one video each month of my FPP journey, which is, if you don't know what FPP is, it's foundation paper piecing. I didn't know what it was until partway through last year when a good friend of mine was like, I think you would really enjoy FPP with your dyed fabric. So that's when I kind of dove down that rabbit hole. And I am just really, really enjoying it. I'm going to share this morning some of the things that I am using or that I've found helpful to have in my FPP journey. But you don't have to have any of these except for your pattern, a sewing machine, and the fabrics you want to use. Okay. So don't feel like you have to go and spend extra money to do this project. Come on in, say hello, tell me how you're doing today. This is the first time I've done a live on a Sunday. I don't know, is it the first time I've done a live on a Sunday this year? It might be because I've had pre-recorded videos for most of this year, other than my live apparel sews with my apparel sewing teacher, Jordan, over at Everyday Lions. Let me see. I think showing, oh, here, I had it on the wrong thing. Good morning, Nicole. Good morning, Sheila. I hope you guys are joined. Let me know if you are doing this with me this morning. I tried to get the information out to everybody pretty quickly so that if you didn't purchase a t-shirt, I did put the link to the t-shirts that I got off of Amazon, which I really like. But you could totally take a t-shirt from your closet that you want to upcycle and put the FPP block over the top of it. You could totally do that. Good morning from South Carolina. Yeah, so that's what we're doing today. I'm very excited to do it. Let me know if you're gonna join me in doing it as well. Anne-Marie, hey Anne-Marie, she loves FPP and EPP. I made a quilted jacket and wore it this past week to Atlanta's Original Quilt and Sewing Expo. So fun. Yeah, this actual outfit, well, the shirt kind of stemmed from me making my applique tomato pants that I made to go to QuiltCon. And I was like, I kind of need a shirt to go along with this. I don't really have anything. So then I created the shirt to go with my pants to wear to QuiltCon. That kind of started me down. Well, it was the second thing I had kind of started in my apparel journey for this year, which I'll be sharing more of in the next couple weeks, of like just everything that I've made so far. I feel like I've actually, I might call myself an apparel sewist now because I feel like I've made enough. And I also felt like for this morning, I wanted to do a step-by-step tutorial of this because I've been asked to do an FPP tutorial, but I didn't feel like I was quite at the level of teaching other people FPP yet. I still might not feel fully confident there. I'm sure I'll make mistakes today, but I do feel like FPP is pretty forgiving. So yeah. So I hope that you'll make one of these for yourself. I did not have any shirts that I necessarily wanted to upcycle because during the summer when I'm dyeing fabric, I wear a lot of my old t-shirts just because that way it doesn't matter if they get splashed with dye. And so all my old t-shirts are actually t-shirts that I use for things. So that's why I purchased these distressed t-shirts from Amazon. And they came in like a pack of like 5. I think you can get a pack of 3 too. But they're really nice and the coloring is really nice and so forth. And I like the way they fit. Sheila, awesome. I hope if you do make this, I would please share over in my Facebook group. I do have a link to those in the details of my videos. Tag me over on Instagram. It's my handle is the same as what it is here at Thunderbird Farm PA. I'd love to see it. And remember the tag, the pattern designer as well, TenCowQuilts. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to share their pattern. And I felt like as far as a simple double star block, I know for those of you who quilt, a double star block is like, oh, that's such an easy block. For those of us who don't quilt, not so much. so I do love FPP for the purpose of learning quilting in essence. So yeah. So I'll get to sharing, first of all, what I am using today. So I'm going to be using my Bernina 475 QE. I purchased her in 2019. Her and I have really started to get along. For those of you who've been here for the journey of my YouTube channel, you know that my first machine that I was using here on my YouTube channel was my Singer 600 that was gifted to me from my great aunt. Then I purchased my Sailrite fabricator, and we've been using her for all of our bag making here on the channel. And then because my Singer 600, the feed dogs were really worn down. It's really difficult to find parts for older singers. So I decided to invest in the Bernina 475 QE, but as you know, an older singer does not have all the bells and whistles that a newer machine does. So we've been really getting to know each other over the past 2 years. And I feel like this type of sewing she needs a good servicing now. That's how much I've been using her. So we'll be using our domestic machine. I like to put a foot that has a clear foot on the bottom for my FPP. That way I'm able to see like where my lines are for it. So if you have a clear foot, I have my applique foot on right now. So that's what I'll be using as the foot on my machine. I have a regular standard Gutterman thread in like an off-white color right now on my machine and in the bobbin. And then I purchased this. Once I did a few FPPs, I was like, I found that, as my days are much busier with the business, my time to sew is being pushed into the evenings. And I just turned 45, and 45 meant I needed bifocals. I knew it was coming. And in the evening, it is harder for me to sew. So I purchased the Caterpillar Glow Mat with the glass top. I love it. I love it to be able to see in the evenings. And it's actually one of the reasons FPP has become one of the things that I choose to sew is that I can see to do it at night when I have the chance to sew. So I really do like the glass top because I don't really use the mat for my cutting. I take my FPP over to my Big Mac mat to cut, but I do like it for the ironing portion right here next to my machine. I do use some, what do we want to call this, like firmer or spray stabilizer. What do we call this? Like it's like a starch-free smoothing out spray for when you're sewing. I really like Soak because they focus on eco-friendliness. I know there's a lot of different options out there. You just use whatever you like to use. I know everybody has their brand that they like to use. I also purchased this mini Oliso, is that how we say this? Iron. I purchased this to teach a class down in Florida with my improv piecing for my quilted tote bag, just to have an iron available for the classroom. And I have not pulled out my large iron in months. So this little mini iron has become really like a staple in my sewing room. If any of you use one of those. Nicole, I have trifocals. It's impossible to sew at night. Girl, this has really it adds so much more. I live in an old farmhouse. So the lighting even in our old farmhouse is not even lighting that's, really conducive to sewing during the day. That's why I have so many lights in this room sitting around different places. And so this has really helped a lot because it really brightens up the area that I'm able to see in the evening. So I'm going to take it while it works. But those are kind of like the big tools that I would say for doing FPP. A really good needle. Make sure your needle is a really good and changed. I found that's really helpful just to make sure that it's perforating your fabric, your paper really well. I keep a scissors. I have a Kai scissors right next to me. I don't really use my stiletto at all. I just have the thing with my, I use the seam ripper though. So make sure that's nearby. We're going to keep the setting on our machine. I keep it at a 2.5. You could go a little lower than that if you wanted to, but I usually keep mine at a 2.5. If anyone who is a seasoned FPP person, Anne-Marie, has any other tips that you want to share about FPP, because again, I am very new to this, you guys. I started probably December is when I did, maybe it was November, December. So I'm about 6 months into this, you guys. So if you are a seasoned FPP person, please feel free to share any tips, any tools, anything that you love to use, any tricks, that you could share in the comments. Please share them because that's what we're here to do, is we're here to learn together and share together. So definitely share them. You have the iron too, the mini one. It's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. I can't recommend more. And I had a friend who also purchased the Caterpillar Glow mat with the glass top for ironing. And she was saying how much she really did not like the glass top to iron on. And I convinced her at QuiltCon to grab one of these mini irons. I haven't talked to her recently to ask her what she thinks. I was like, I really don't have a problem. If you don't have this though, I would definitely recommend have some type of wool mat for ironing right next to what you're doing. Okay. So you definitely need something to be ironing, and it's nice if you don't have to get up and down while you're sewing. Hi, Janelle. Hey, Gypsy Firefly came to support. You know absolutely nothing about FPP. Well, FPP is foundation paper piecing, and the best way that I can explain it to you is it's kind of like sew by number. Good morning, Tori. Good morning. I have some good buddies coming in and just saying hello to me. FPP is basically paint by number, but for sewing. That's what it is. So I'm going to show you some of my original first FPP blocks. I believe these are log cabin blocks. These, I think this is, oh goodness, I'm going to forget the name of the company. Oh goodness. It's one of the main ones, and it's just like totally left my brain. But these were the first ones I did, which a log cabin block, again, like I said, I'm not a quilter either. Quilting is part of my family, part of the vibe, but it was never a type of sewing that I, one, either had the time to spend the time to learn, two, felt like it was was my vibe, like that I had access to the things that were my vibe, right? So this was the first blocks that I did with the 5-inch blocks from my mail club, the handcrafted post. So the handcrafted post is closed. I'm no longer taking new people for that, but it will reopen in November for next year. But every month I send a letter that has a very specific creative theme. They also receive 2 5-inch Kona cotton blocks in there. So this was the first one that I did, and it was basically just teaching you how do you build a block and you sew over the paper. I'm going to show all this. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it first. So this was the first ones that I did. I did a small version too. A lot of FPP quiet play. Quiet Play. I just remembered. Quiet Play is the designers for this. They have a lot of really cute ones too. So usually every pattern that I've purchased so far that is FPP, you get multiple different sizes of the pattern. So like today, when you purchase the TenCowQuilts double star block, you're going to get various different sizes of that block. You want to print off the 10-inch block, and that's the one we're going to use. I just realized that my phone is not on silent, so I'm going to put it on silent. Then I also did this block with some of my dyed fabric and some of our heritage fat quarters. This is also a Quiet Play block. So this is like one of the first ones. I think I did a kind of walkthrough video of this one here on the channel. So this was the second one that I did. And that kind of prepared me for this. Did I do anything else where I like built into a picture? I don't think so. I think I mostly have just purchased some and have them waiting for a very specific project. So, Anne-Marie, I'm losing my voice this morning, all morning when I've been trying to talk. I'm so happy you're doing this live. I think I'll design a new FPP jacket while watching you today. Oh, that's awesome. Definitely share, Anne-Marie. Yeah, it's been a while since I did a live, and mostly it's just because we've been really busy here preparing. We're doing the Lancaster Lebanon Quilt Show, and I went to QuiltCon. So those were two like pretty big things that we were working towards for this like first half of the year. And so like the quilt show is a lot of work. But I'm hoping that it goes really, really well. And we're transitioning a lot of things within my business. We're transitioning some things. So we've also been working on that. So having the pre-recorded videos was great for that, but I do miss spending Sunday mornings chatting with you all and sharing in our love of our craft. So I hope I can make sure that I at least schedule a couple of these over the next couple of months. And hopefully the quilt show goes really well because I've just been working my little hiney off for that. Tori, know nothing about FPP, but you said paint by numbers, so I'm here for it. Nicole, I love quilting, but I do more hand quilting and EPP. I need to try FPP. I did try EPP. So for those of you who don't know what EPP is English paper piecing. I don't have any of the hexagons, but the traditional version of it, there's a lot of different versions of that. The traditional version of that is that you take paper hexagons, you cut out your fabric into that hexagon, you glue them onto the sides with a little bit of glue, and then you hand sew those hexagons together. Just do a Pinterest search of EPP and you'll see all the gorgeous things. It's a very traditional quilting. You probably seen it at your local thrift shop. I mean, you can find EPP in a lot of, maybe not now because it's gone, thrifting has gone crazy, but it is one that you would recognize if you have ever seen a quilt before. I had tried EPP. I had a bunch of the little hexies made, and I had them in a tin for over a year and a half. This Christmas, my best friend and our girls, we all adult girls now, we did a crafting day, and I took all my hexies and I created a Christmas tree decoration for my house with them because I was like, I'm never going to hand sew these together. And if I do decide to take up EPP ever again, I'll just make new ones. But EPP, I think, is a great road trip. It's almost like embroidery is, where it's like one of those crafts that you can, if you're sitting for periods of time in a car, it's like a good one for that type of travel. I've also seen people use the EPP, like do machining of it together, which I think is also potentially something I would take up. But yeah, there's so many. I really feel like that's the next season of sewing for me, both within apparel and also within the quilting world, expanding in that area. It's a season of life thing too. I think I have 2 adult kids. Supposedly I'm supposed to have more time, right? Okay, so went through like our big kind of what types of equipment we need, so forth. I'm going to share with you the pattern, what the pattern pieces look like now. And then I'll share with you the fabrics. Sound good? All right. So my pattern pieces, I have them all cut out. But the way that they show up, don't mind my scribbles on them right now, but the way that your pattern pieces look, I'm going to try to pull out one of the big ones here. So your pattern pieces look like this, okay? So I'm going to just stand up and show you my shirt. So this bottom piece here is actually this block here, okay? See that? So what we're going to do is we're going to, each of these pieces is separate, all right? Some FPP patterns, it's all together, okay? Some it's in all different little separate pieces. Then we're going to pull it all together at the end, okay? So that's what we're doing with this one. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to decide what fabrics do we want to go in which area, all right? And then we're going to flip it on the back, and this is where we're going to put our fabrics because we want to sew across this line, all right? And then we're going to fold over, find our next fabric, lay it the way we need to lay it, sew along that line, okay? So we're going to just go step by step. I'm going to show each little piece. But what I've done so far is I've cut out these pieces for this pattern, and then I've wrote in each of my blocks which fabrics I want to use in each block. That really helps me, especially for patterns that are not color shaded or not all FPP patterns are the same, right? Or made the same. Different designers, different things. It does really help me when the FPP pattern is shaded, even if it's not my exact fabrics. And I'll show you an example of that. So we just released, and we're in the middle of our pre-order for a collection that I designed with one of our artists. It's called the Women Before Us collection. It's a call to all of the women who've come before us, who show us how to be brave, how to empower ourselves. I just felt like Women's History Month, in the times we're living in right now, we need to remember that there have been women who've come before us who have fought the good fight to show us how to continue to do that. And so this is, I built an FPP quilt kit, and the pattern designer that I'm using for the FPP quilt kit is, oh gosh, my brain this morning is Jo June and May, and Ingrid at Jo June. And I was thinking of the designer's name and not her business name. Ingrid at Jo June and May is amazing. She's a German artist, designer, and her patterns. I have fell in love with Jo June and May because she shades things, and that kind of really has helped me a lot when building out an FPP. So I would recommend, this is a great one to start with because it's a very simple block that we're doing today from TenCowQuilts. But if you want to kind of get better at your FPP, I do feel like, at least for me, the patterns that are shaded have really helped my brain. I don't know if that's a neurodivergent thing or whatever, to be able to like function and see like, oh no, I need that fabric now for this next part. But this is what it has created. And so this is an FPP block. The big ones are an FPP block. This is an FPP block. The little tiny one is just this version, this backwards. So after this type of block, but a smaller version of it. So you could build an entire quilt from FPP. And I think that's also for those of us who think we don't have the time to quilt, or maybe you've never even thought about quilting. This is a whole other way of doing it. And so what you're going to see in the patterns is it's going to tell you, like here, this one here says A1. So you know that that's the first piece of fabric that needs to go down. A2 is here. So that's the next piece of fabric that needs to go down. And then you're going to stitch along that line. So it really, like I said, it is Tori. It is paint by number, but for sewing. And it's a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed designing this quilt kit. All of the, like I said, it's on pre-order right now on our website. And all of the quilt kits, the quilt panel, the quilt lovers panel, and also one of the book lover panels, we are donating to specific organizations. One is the American Association of University Women. So it goes to support women who are trying to go on and get to higher education. And then it also, the book lover panel that we did for Princess Diana's block, the proceeds, a portion of the proceeds is going to save the children. So go over and check out that pre-order if you like this collection. And the quilt kit does come with all of the FPP pattern to go along with it to build this. Okay. How do you get the paper off after? You just rip it off. You're going to see that. That's like also one of the fun parts of this is it's definitely like, it's almost like chopping onions, right? Like just like throw away all of the things that are like that you're dealing with. You just rip it off and it looks great. Yeah, you use smaller stitch length. So I'm using a 2.5. You could go down to a 2. And so that perforates the paper just enough that you can rip it off. So so yeah, it's very easy. We're gonna do that today too. One of the things that I did find, and I think your pimple popping heart. Yeah, Tori. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like one of those things. So yeah, so where was I going? Tori, you threw me off. Oh, yes. So when I got into this, actually, my friend who told me about it, she had done an FPP with some of my dyed fabric that was a rose. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous. She's like, your dyed fabric is so perfect for this because when you're using directional fabric, like what I just showed you, or printed fabric, you always have to make sure you're using like you have the right side down or the right direction, right? With my dyed fabric, you don't got to worry about that. For the most part, both sides are going to be just fine. There's no direction to it, so you don't got to worry about that. So using my dyed fabric, it really has opened up a whole other door for me with using my hand dyed fabrics, which for many of you who've purchased my dyed fabric, this is something I know about you because I don't see it enough. I know many of you don't cut it. You're afraid to cut it. You're worried that it's like, oh, that's just, it's too pretty to cut, whatever it is. I'm waiting for the perfect project. FPP is the perfect project for dyed fabric, specifically the cottons that I do. So the brush cotton, the Kona cotton, the cotton poplin, and the cotton sateen as well. So those are all great weights of fabrics for hand dyed for the FPP. So we are going to use some dyed fabric. I can feel, it's springtime. I can feel my nose getting ready to run. So I'll show you the fabrics that I'm using today. I am using all cotton weights. Okay. I had tried, I don't know if I have that here. I had something else that I had tried using some of the sailcloth and the linen cotton canvas. It's just a little bit too thick, you guys. So I don't recommend this unless you're going to use this for the entire block. Okay. It's great for your applique, those bases, but it's not really great for FPP. But today I am using, this is what I pulled. I pulled some of our Garden Cottage, or what did I call it? Garden Hollow, that we just released, which is this like pretty green blue color in a Shimbori print. This is a brush cotton, okay? Then I also have, this is the Solar Flare that we released last month. This is a cotton poplin. And then we also released this month. This is the vintage milled cotton. And this is a resist sienna that turned out kind of to have like this green lime color. We're doing a carrot theme because that's what my daughter wanted after I had the tomato one. My daughter was like, I want carrots. And then we're also using a Kona. This is one of our prints for this year. This will be available for pre-order again in April. Okay, so this is our striped carrots in the small version. And then I also have one of our heritage designs. This will also be available again in April for pre-order. This is gardening season, I think is what I named it. So that's also a Kona cotton. So those are the fabrics that I chose to use today. And I basically just wrote which ones I want to put where. When I'm going to try to show this to you because I'm using my laptop as the camera, but I'm going to lay out this block so you can kind of see how this is something that helps me is by just laying it out the way it needs to go because I don't know quilting. All right, let's just say that. I'm a very new quilter. The names of blocks and the way blocks go are not something that is in my repertoire or memory. So there have been multiple times where I've like really screwed up a block and had things turned the wrong way. So I try to lay it out so that I know, okay, this is how it's going to be. So I'll show you that. I'm just going to kind of turn you guys so you can see here how it's laid out. So I have it all laid out the way that it's going to go. That way I know, okay, I'm going to start. The first little block we're doing is here. So A1 is here, A2, A3, A4. So that's the first one we're going to do. All right. And I already have wrote in there which fabrics we're going to use. This is something that I'm learning with FPP also is like sometimes it's hard for me to like visualize. Am I putting fabrics in the right place? So I think that's just a skill that you learn over time as you play with this. We're just going to go with what I put down and hopefully it looks the way we want it to look. But I don't know, it's fun. So especially when it's not shaded, I like to write which fabrics we're using. So I have that. And I also brought, just because for those of you who've been watching my stories, I've been following Fashion Week. And one of the things that I can't get over that we just have so much of right now is ruffles. Ruffles are everywhere, 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 everywhere. So I grabbed some 1-inch ice lilac binded and dyed because I thought it'd be really cool. Once we have the block done, I'm going to put a ruffle all the way around the block. I think my daughter will love that in the ice lilac because, again, she wants it to be purple and orange. So I grabbed some of that. We're going to kind of look and see how it looks before we stitch it down. The other thing that I did do as well is I cut out a bunch of carrots because, as you can see, I put a tomato in the center of my block. I cut out some carrots from the dyed fabric using the pattern from Red Hat Creative. She has a veggie applique pattern that has all different silhouettes of different vegetables. That's what I used for my tomato pants. But there's obviously there's a carrot as well. So we're going to put a carrot on my daughter's. There's a couple different little how cute is that going to be? So we're going to do a little applique, and I'm going to show you a new tool that I just got at QuiltCon for a new foot that I got for my machine. Okay. So, yeah, so that's, oh, I should probably do not disturb and not silent because we're going to get little things coming through. So we're going to try to do that also. So I think we're going to be here for a little bit today, you guys. All right. And then this is the shirt that I'm using for my daughter. These are just the ones that I got from Amazon. They're like distressed. They almost have like the 80s distressed look to them. So there is a link to the Amazon to purchase these shirts. They wash really nice. They're super comfortable. And like I said, if I had shirts that I was going to upcycle, I totally would have done that instead of purchasing them. But because I use all my old shirts when I'm outside dyeing fabric, I really didn't have anything that I wanted to cover up. So this is the shirt we're using. Okay, so now I need to just look and see what we're going to start with. And I have that I wanted to do the gardening season for A1, and for A2 I was going to do green, because I'm going to place, obviously I'm going to place this carrot in the center, right? So what I was thinking is, and I'll show from my shirt. So this is this here. Yeah, this here is what we're going to be doing first, this little area here. And so I was thinking about doing, because I have to kind of look and see like how is this going to look on hers, putting like green as the star corners, and then the gardening season is this here. So I think that'll work. And then what do I have? I have the carrot stripe in the center, which I think that'll work too. So I feel like my choices were okay. All right, so I'm going to grab my gardening season fabric. And the other thing about this is you just end up with a bunch of confetti on your floor of fabric, which is totally okay. You're supposed to make a mess when you're having fun. And I'm going to grab the green. So I have that as well. And I'm going to tilt you guys down so you can kind of see the process here. Okay. And if you have any questions, pop them in here. I'm going to try it. Once I'm done with each different little block area, I'll come over and check and see if there's any questions or anything. Okay. So I'm going to try to move things off my cutting table so that when I have to come over and trim things down. All right. And I think I'm going to go down just a little bit on my stitch length. So I'm at 2.10 for my stitch length. And like I said, I do have like an off-white colored thread in here. And then when we get into like appliquing it onto the shirt, I'll change my color thread to something else. All right, so here's my piece. I'm going to cut a piece for the garden for A1. And I'm just going to cut this little corner piece with the carrot off here. Cut off my salvage. Okay, so here's my little piece. I'm going to lay that on, I'm going to lay that on the opposite side of where I'm stitching, okay? And I probably should have cut it bigger. So this is one of the lessons I learned. So I'm saving all, just so you know, I'm like saving all of this for like if I need it for something smaller, but I need to cut it bigger because it needs to be, you need to have your pieces. This is where you're stitching it into the other parts of your block. So you need to have it big enough that it's going to go over this. So let me just kind of look. So that's going to be more the size I need. So now you can kind of see that it's over the edges so that it's in my seam allowance to be able to put it with the other parts of the block. And then I need a piece of the green here for A2. So I'm just going to kind of look and see. I'm actually going to cut a piece this size of this one and then cut it in half, because that way I'll have the two for the two little star points. So I know some people, like I've watched some people, they like to take like a glue stick and just kind of like put a little bit on to hold the first piece down. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to position it right like that. And then I'm going to find, nope, wrong direction. I need it to be this way. So my A1 needs to be facing me, all right, so I can see it. And then this is what's nice about dyed fabric is you don't got to worry about which direction it's going. I just need to know that it's A2 and it needs to be laying this way. Okay, so I have it laying this way because this is what's nice about the light board is I can lay that down and look and see where are my lines at. And so I'm going to stitch right along this line. All right. Okay, so I stitched right along that line. Now I'm going to open this part up and I'm going to iron that down. And I know some people, like they'll go over to their cutting mat and cut this, but I'm just going to use my scissors and I'm going to cut off the excess. Okay, and then lay down again and iron it. And now for the other point, I'm going to lay my piece down, flip it, okay, and now I'm going to iron that down as well. And trim off the excess. Okay. And so you can see there's the start of one of our points. It's so fun how it starts taking shape like right away. I mean, there are more complicated ones that it takes a little bit to see things, but I really do enjoy it so much. Okay, so now I want to do the center carrot block. So we're not going to see the carrot in the center, so the carrot piece doesn't need to be in the center, but I do need a big enough piece. Okay, I'm actually going to spray this because this fabric is pretty wrinkled from going through the wash. I didn't iron it yet, so I'm going to iron that, get the wrinkles out of it. And now I'm just going to lay this fabric like so on the top like that. Okay. And I'm going to stitch down that center line. And then I can trim off all that excess. Okay. So now underneath here, I just want to trim off this excess. Iron it down again. And there's our first piece, okay? We are going to, at the very end, what I do is after I've made all the little pieces, I take it over to my rotary table, to my rotary cutter, and like I cut off all and make the piece all line up, okay? But there's one piece is ready. Okay, so I'm going to set that over on my table and I'm going to find my next one, which is this one here. So I need another piece of the little garden piece. Let's see what I can get that could show up. That's the other thing. It's kind of like fussy cutting a little bit, which is super fun to do. So I think I'm gonna put this piece here. And the patterns for FPP really are not, they're not that expensive at all. So like, you don't have to, like, it's not going to break your bank to be buying a few FPP patterns. Okay, and now I need my 2 pieces for the points. And what's nice, like I said, is you get so many, for most of them, there's only been like 1 or 2 patterns that I bought that it didn't come with a bunch of different sizes. For most of them, you're getting so many different sizes of that block. Okay, so now we're going to do 2B, which goes like so. Right? No, like this. All right, and I'm going to stitch that down. Cut off my excess. And you're just following whatever number is next. So here's 3B. And it's like building out a puzzle, which is also really fun. Okay, I'm going to cut off that excess. So there's that piece. So now you can kind of see, and actually I'll go and trim this one down, but like I'm going to line these pieces up then, and that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be the block piece, right? There's a sale right now too on TenCowQuilts. Yeah, so she does have the block on sale. So grab it. She has some other really cute ones too that I've been looking at. All right, so now we need here's our next ones. So I'm going to do the garden. So I need that. And then I need another 2 green. And then for those of you who don't have enough of my dyed fabric, I did add for today only. You can get 15% off any of my dyed fabric. over on the website using that code that I have going across the bottom of the page. So just use that code when you check out and you get 15% off. A little something, because I really love it. Allows you also to learn how to coordinate your dyed fabric with prints. For those of you who might struggle with that a little bit, because I know that that's something that many times people say to me, like, well, I don't ever know what really goes well with the dyed fabric. This is a great way to use it. All right, so now we're going to do this way. Okay. Trying to get these little mushrooms in here because I know my daughter will like the little mushrooms. Okay. Oh, I need to cut off my excess here. The other thing, so my mother-in-law has started doing resin, and so all my little confetti cut-offs she's been taking to add to some of her resin stuff. She's working, I'll show you. She's working on some pattern weights for the Lancaster Quilt Show that are so cool. She gave me her test ones. Okay. There's that. All right, now am I doing garden season or carrot stripe on this one? Hold on a second, you guys. I guess I decided to do garden season instead of the carrot stripe on those. Okay. The other night when I was doing this, I was like trying to just make it look a certain way from a picture I saw. So we shall see if what I'm thinking works out. Let me. Oh, that's a good idea, Nicole. You keep all your little baby scraps and make journal covers from them. I really like that. And actually, I'll show you. Well, with your free motion applique feet, like that's a really cool way of using that, right? Okay. Nah, is that gonna work? This direction, Jenna. That's the one thing you gotta kind of pay attention to, especially with the printed fabric. Oh, see, I went too far there. So I went too far, and now when I go to close it, I'm not up to the edge, so I have to rip that out. It's not hard to rip out, so that's one nice thing about it. Okay, let's do this direction. So try and get the fuzzers out of here. Okay. There's that. Cut off that excess. Okay. Looking good so far. So there's another piece. Again, all those like excess pieces are going to be cut off. You fuse them on the fusible fleece, cover with organza, and quilt and do couching. Yes, yes. So that's the foot that I got that allows me to put yarn through my machine. We might try. We'll see how long this goes. We might try today. I read that it's a little bit tricky to get the foot on, so maybe I won't do that live. But I'm so excited to play with it. All right, so now we're going to do, oh, I need to do another one of these small ones. So we're going to put that piece like so. And then we need 2 more green pieces. I think we're just going to make sure that it's big enough, you guys. Yeah, okay. So this piece is going to go like so. And this piece is going to go like so, right? Yeah. Okay. This piece. I feel like this does so many different things also in stabilizing my mood. Which I feel like right now all of us can probably use a little bit of that with the way the world is. So I just feel like the steps are like so methodic and just allows you to kind of let go of all the things that you're dealing with and thinking about, you know? All right, so I'm just gonna cut this piece for the side and this piece. Okay, and so we're gonna go here. And you could be real fussy. I'm not being too fussy with this part because the carrot's gonna go in this area. So I'm just following what I wrote on each piece of which fabric I'm using. I do really love this month's Heritage Fat Quarter Packs, and we already moved them over to take them to the quilt show. But like I said, you can pre-order when our next pre-order opens, which is April 11th. You can pre-order any of these fabrics in a variety of bases. We're actually adding some bases because our next pre-order, we're kind of focusing on apparel. But we're adding some apparel bases to our next pre-order. So you'll be able to actually get all of our prints in a few different bases just for the pre-order in April as well. Okay, so there's this one. So now we have like our whole center area is complete. Now we're going to work on that exterior part. Okay, so now I have this one. I need a carrot. So I no longer am using green. Green is moving on. I need some of the carrot stripe. And I do need to think about now the direction of my carrot stripe, because my carrot stripe is going to be in those points, the bigger points. So like these points here that are going in these directions. So I have to think about, so I'm going to lay this out the way that it goes, so I can make sure that how I'm doing this is the right way that I want it. So do I want my carrots? What do you guys think? So this is the side. I probably want my carrots to go like this though, don't you think? I would want them to be straight up and down. Or do I want them to go sideways on the sideways ones? I think I want them to be straight up and down. That's what I would think, right? So I'm going to need to cut this differently. So we're going to need to cut it like this. Okay. So I'm going to cut 2 of these this direction. And I'm going to cut 2 of these the other direction for the top and the bottom. My friend Jordan, she's making her quilted wavy vest with all of the striped veggies. So she cut out 2.5-inch blocks from all the striped veggie prints. Here, I'll show you. So this is the striped carrots. And then, because I have them too, I don't know what I'm going to use all the other veggies for. I haven't decided yet. But we have the striped veggies in 2 different scales. So we have a large and a small scale, well, a regular scale and a small scale. So here's the carrots. Here's the peppers, the striped peppers. I called these beets, but they could be radishes as well, right? Because they have the little white, but I called them beets. And then here's the maters. They're so cute. The artist that designs these, her name is Junebug Darling is her design company. I just love, you'll see that we picked a lot of her collection this year. I just love the simplicity, but the boldness. There's like a contrast with her designs that is just so well done. So those are the other striped veggies. So those are, we do have fat quarter packs of these and yard cuts of these going to the quilt show. So if any of those are left over, we'll make sure they get up on the website. But pre-order, you can order them during pre-order in April as well. Okay, so we have our carrots. Let me move our pieces again and let's iron these pieces so that they're nice and crisp. can't wait to get in my garden. I wish the weather would decide what it's doing, but 'tis the season in Pennsylvania for not knowing what you're going to get each day. That's where I live, so it's all right. We'll get out there. I'm hoping after the quilt show that we get some nice weather, and like literally right after the quilt show, that's what I can be doing, is ordering some dirt and getting my garden going. Okay, so we have our 4 carrots. So now we need the gardening season, and we need some decent size pieces. I'm just going to fold this in half, cut off my salvage. Yeah, I'm going to make 4 of those. I know you're probably saying, boy, Jenna, you're wasting a lot of fabric. Yeah, but it's all going to get used somehow, right? Like, I don't throw away the scraps, so you could see if I threw them away, but it's going to get used somehow. I could be fussier than what I am, but for time purposes, I want us to get to like putting it on the shirt and so forth. So I am going to be doing a project soon that's really fussy cutting. So I'm hoping to record some of that today. That we have a kit for that's coming soon, which is super cute and fun. I'm just going to cut these each in half, so then I have my points. Okay. All right, so this, we need one of these. I'm kind of going to bring this up as far as I can go so I can get that 1 carrot kind of in there. And then we're going to that like so. You're just wanting to make sure that your points when you're doing your corners are into that seam allowance area. So that way, when we're trimming this down, you have enough to stitch them all together. Okay. My daughter, I don't know if you guys saw it, but that she made me tomato pincushion earrings. Like she crocheted them for me. So she's going to crochet herself some carrot earrings also, which I think is super fun. So there's one of our big ones. Morning, Jordan. Almost afternoon. Yep. Were your ears ringing, Jordan? Yes, I saw a little bunny bag. That is the cutest thing. I saw that. It is super cute. All right. Oh, these here, I'm going to wait for that one. We're going to do the other side, right? I need to make sure that my directions are right. So we're going, that's this side. We need this side, correct? Look at your shirt, Jenna. Yeah, so I need my other one to go like so, right? Yep, because that's that side. This will be this side, okay. Actually, I think I might use this one and have the little shovel, maybe. Make sure that I'm fully on there. We have so many cute things happening. I wish I could tell you all of them, but I want some of it to be a surprise. I'm horrible. I'm horrible with surprises, you guys. But next week, so what's happening this week? So this week, mainly what we're focused on is trying to, like, if you want the Women Before Us collection, I highly recommend you get that pre-ordered. And you can order the individual designs in any of the bases, but especially the kits. If you want any of those kits, now's your time to grab those. And also to the book lover panel. And then the last week of the month, which is when we're away at the quilt show, we're actually going to have a little deal for everybody while we're away at the quilt show, which I like to do when we're not in the office. And I'll be releasing my trend report for March. So if you're in Patreon, you'll actually get first access to the trend report. And then everybody else, I'll be sharing it in our newsletter. Okay. Did I do that wrong? Oh, I did it wrong. I made my carrots upside down. Poopers. Well, nothing a seam ripper. See what happens when I talk and sew at the same time, you guys. Oh, darn it. I have to fix it because I don't want upside down carrots. Darn it, darn it, darn it. See, this is why dyed fabric is so much better. You don't have to worry about directions. It's all right. If we don't share our mistakes, we don't learn. So sharing mistakes is important. No one is perfect. And actually, I think we should celebrate our mistakes more often, because I think our mistakes actually lead to a lot more good than they do otherwise. So I do really feel like this year has been mostly for me just showing up as I am, because no one is perfect. All right, I'm going to cut another piece of the carrots. Oh. What is everybody working on today? If you're not doing this with me, what are you working on and creating? I like to know what patterns you're working on, what's inspiring you lately. I shared this morning about how Fashion Week and the whole thing with JFK Jr. and the show that they have on Hulu. Like, there's so much buzz around that. So much buzz. And like romanticizing about the way she dressed and just how like it's so interesting to me that that's what we're romanticizing. I mean, I even saw like people are picking up smoking again because they're romanticizing about this show and like her persona. And I was just like, what a weird thing to be like, yeah, that was a fashion aesthetic. I mean, it kind of was, I guess, but like, why would we want to go back to that? Oh, the things that the internet chooses to take off with. Okay, now I think we're good. Okay. Yeah. Right? Yes. Yes. Okay. Whew. Okay. Where's the other one? I got my daughter's taxes done yesterday. I got my mother-in-law's taxes done yesterday. We finished our like local taxes. I don't know where that order of this is something you have to learn how to do. But I ended up learning how to do it myself, and I would rather. And actually, at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I'm glad we did it. But when you're going into it, I'm like, oh, gosh. Still have to help my daughter's boyfriend because, you know, he moved here, but he worked in New York. So his are going to be a little bit more detailed because of having two different states. But, okay, so we got those pieces done. Okay, I'm going to set them over here till it's time to cut everything down. Now, we need our carrot stripe is going to go here for the bottom. Yep, this is the bottom. So I want to kind of get have a carrot like right there. And then we're going to position our gardening. Perfect. Cut off our excess. Okay. And then our other piece. Like so. is going to be so cute. My daughter wore my wavy vest that I did with the duck fabric to school this week. She's an 8th grade science teacher. And all of her students were like, they thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, see, your mom's cool. All right, so now we're going to use these on the either side. They really, I'll have to go grab it because I did a block on the inside because I made that reversible. So I did a block on the inside of the one part of the jacket. That was an FPP block. That was one from Joe, Jude, and May. That is for the Women Before Us. It was kind of like my test before I decided to dive into the quilt. So, okay, so we're gonna go this direction. Oh, doing the wrong thing, you guys. Didn't read my instructions that I wrote for myself. Dang it. Okay. It's all right. Everything is fixable, Jenna. I also feel like many times when I'm bag making, if I have to rip something out, I'm really annoyed, right? I feel like with this, it's like just part of the process, which has actually really helped me a lot with succumbing to like the thoughts that I could be a quilter. Because every time I've tried quilting, I'll just be very clear, very honest. Every time I've tried quilting from like a measure and cut type of situation, the measuring and cutting isn't my problem. It's piecing it together that it's going in the right direction. And I don't notice that I have it the wrong direction. Like one piece will be off. I don't notice it until I take a picture of it. And then I take a picture of it and I feel like I'm so accomplished and all done with it. And then it's like, nope, you did that wrong. And it's so annoying to me, where this doesn't feel like when I mess up that I'm annoyed with myself. So I don't know what that says about me, but so I need some square pieces of the carrots for either side of this. Now we can do it. Let's see, what are you guys chatting about? Good things, you're a fabric dealer. Good thing I'm a fabric, yeah, good thing I have a basement full of it. I don't like to waste it though. Like that is one, I don't like to waste it. I posted a picture in your group. I am working on an EPP barn owl piece. Oh my gosh, I bet you that's gorgeous. A lot of them are very detailed. Actually, this is one I did do, which is like the most detailed thing I've ever done. And I didn't cut enough of excess off, so it didn't turn out as amazing as what I was hoping it would be. But for my first time doing something that detailed, and when I downloaded the pattern, there was one piece that was not colored correctly. And I made it wrong, but I did the resistance loon for Minnesota. And I mean, some of these pieces, like, just look how detailed that is. And it was this, like I said, this was just one. I feel like it's just such a great technique to just lose yourself in, you know? And that's what that was for me. Making the Fern Tote. Sheila, that's such a pretty bag. I haven't done that one yet from Evergreen Threads from Amber Lee. It's on my list too, Jordan. Yeah, that turned out really, really good. Not like some, but it turned out nice. All right, let's finish this baby. Let's make sure I'm doing it right. Okay. Well, my father-in-law is up, so you might hear the loud Dutchman downstairs. There we go. Cut off the excess here. Good. Next one. Okay, so there's my bottom piece. Okay, so now I need my top piece. I need to make sure that I'm positioning everything correctamundo. So I want this to go this way, right? Yep. No. Yes. Yes. No. Maybe. Yes. Okay. So that's that. Then we're going to piece this like so. Okay. So it's really just following these lines and building it out from there. Once you do it a couple times, you really do get the hang of it. So don't give up on it. All right. I know, like the first couple pieces that I did, like, and I guess that's why I say like every single one, I usually have to rip something because I'm not going the right direction or whatever. But it really isn't that big of a deal. It's so easily fixed, right? Unless it's like that one that I just showed you, the loon. Like I didn't even notice that till that was all put together. And those are a lot of little tiny pieces. And I was like, yeah, I'm not pulling that apart. It's just going to stay the way that it is. So, okay. Those pieces. All right. And then this goes like so. I'm sure somebody in the sewing bag world, and there I was off a little bit. Darn it. Can I fix it without pulling the whole thing apart? Nope. I'm sure there's going to be some. I think actually didn't Jess Okaroots just do an FPP tutorial? I think she might have. I think I saw her doing a bunny, which I think might have been Joe, June, and May, actually. I didn't see the tutorial. I think I just saw her sharing it on Instagram. But there, the one that I watched, just to kind of give me like the gist of it, that it was like from the machine type of look, was Little Green Bean. I went and watched her. She did like a flying geese version. And I just went and watched hers, and that kind of gives you the gist of like from the machine view. And then I took it from there myself, right? Okay. want to turn it this way because I need it to be in the right direction. I'm going to iron these. We're so close to piecing it all together. Yay. All right, so now we're going to put this piece like so. We are working on some new design collections and bringing in some new fabrics for spring, summer, which is exciting in the quilty world of things. So that's great. I've been doing a lot of research. I had a phone call yesterday asking, you know, all the questions that I ask about ethically made things and how manufacturing works and all that fun jazz. So stay tuned for some new fun things after the quilt show. New artists that we're finding. Working with one of my main artists for a sequel or prequel, I guess you would call it, for the new Testaments collection that goes along with our Handmaids fabric. So we'll be releasing that at the beginning of April for that will be a new collection on pre-order. Okay, so there's my top. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to swing you guys around to the cutting table here. Move my cup out of the way. And now we have all of our pieces over here at the cutting table. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim. I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to line it up along the paper, and I'm going to trim all the sides of the paper all the way around. Okay. So that's what we're going to do next. Doing that women before us, the quilt blocks for that. Oh my goodness. That was because I've been like kind of rushing around trying to get things done for displays for the quilt show. And I really wanted to have that done for that. So used to seeing how confetti filled my floor was with that. My husband was like, because I was just leaving it go because I was doing it when I had time. And then I usually am very much someone who cleans my sewing room up after I'm done using it. And my husband was like, are you going to clean up your sewing room? I was like, leave me alone. This is the new normal. It's a new part of the hobby. Because it was just so, it wasn't like he was telling me to clean it, because that's definitely not my husband. But it was more like, are you okay? My son, he's on spring break this week from college. So he's actually working on some new stuff with his 3D printer for the shop, which is fun. So he'll be able to share some new things there. Okay. Oh, this is just going to be so stinking cute. My daughter's going to be so excited. She's at the point, like I said, if you didn't know, she's an 8th grade science teacher. This is her first year. I feel like she's at the point as a teacher, especially with just the weather here, and also being a science teacher where she wants to get her kids outside to do things. She's just like, oh, I feel like everything it's just monotonous a little bit right now. So I think this will be a fun little gift for her she could wear to school. That's springy. I do have multiple different size rulers. This one is just the one I always grab. Someday when I have a studio, maybe I can have specific sections for specific tools for specific types of sewing. That is not the case right now. I feel like as I dive into more different types of sewing, from bag making, and not that I didn't do like home decor stuff in the past, but I've mostly done bag making, and I feel like my small sewing room was like kind of perfect as long as I didn't like step outside that box. But now it kind of feels like I'm like getting cramped. All right. And don't worry, I know there's people with a lot smaller sewing rooms than me that do way more. But hopefully in my building that we're working on, we're not planning a whole lot of time away this year. So I think we'll get more done this year on that. Maybe by the end of the year have a sewing studio to move into, maybe. All right, so all my pieces are now cut down. While I'm over here, I'm going to show you guys the pattern weights that my mother-in-law is working on. So she had been, if you guys were at, you guys can't see me, I'm like a headless person talking. She had some at Salty Sews where it was just the stones. And like I said, this is her test where she realized she had to do more opaque. But she's doing a whole floral collection where you can choose what color flowers, what color roses you want inside or laying on top. And then this bottom part is going to be white. It's not going to be the stones. It's going to be white so you can see the leaves of the roses. But this was one of the test ones. And this is a great size because it's elongated and it's really great to like sit. And they're really nice and heavy. You could definitely use it as a weapon. And then this was one of the original ones that she had done, that she had at the at Salty Sews. So that's one of her originals. So she'll have round ones that have the roses like on the top here, and then it's white down in here, and different colored roses, and the roses kind of have like a shimmer sparkle in them. And then she's also been playing with like putting fabric inside. So these were some test ones that she did for me, that she put the spice houses that we had. So she'll have a square, round, and the rectangle tall one. You can order, we're going to do that. You can pre-order them during the next pre-order, April 11th. You'll be able to pre-order them either individual or as a set, and you get to choose what colors you want. And then the lead time will be what we do for the pre-order so that it get all shipped together. So watch for that. But my mother-in-law has been really working hard on these, and I love them. They're really great. So that's that. All right, let's put our block together. Yay. Okay. We're gonna turn you again. Like so. I'm going to get myself a little drink. Emery, yes, you do have two of the originals. You use them all the time and look forward to adding to. Oh, awesome. She'll love that. My mother-in-law retired. She was a truck driver for, I think, 4 or 5 years. And she early retired 2 years ago, and started up with the resin, and just has been like well, she made my ear. Oh no, I'm not wearing my chicken earrings. She didn't make these, but she's making some earrings. We'll have some earrings next month too. We're taking some of those to the Lancaster Lebanon show. She's just really enjoying it. So I said to her, like, you know, if she wants me to put it on the website for her and offer them during pre-orders, that gives her some time to be able to put them together. And she's so like particular about it. Like actually Jordan got some of the chicken earrings, and she's like so particular about like putting their little eyes on, and like it's really, really fun to see her find something that's that she's really enjoying to do. So all right, let's put this together. So I'm going to lay it out here. So this piece definitely goes there. And this piece goes here like so. This is the bottom one. This is the top one. Here. This is this side, correct? I think. This is this. Yep. Okay. This. Right? Nope, that's the top one. Like so. And this goes here. Oh, this is going to be so cute. So cute. Here, I have to take the carrots off my computer so I can lift this up and show you. But there's what it's going to look like. Okay. All right. Let's piece this baby together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start with our first and our second block. And we're just going to line it up where that grayed area is our seam allowance. So we're just going to line them together, and we're just going to stitch straight down along that seam allowance, and we're going to press it open. Okay, so there's that, and now I'm going to just open it up here to press it open so that everything is laying really nice when we go and take the paper out. Okay, now we're going to take the bottom piece. We're going to lay that on top like so. Try to make sure that my seams line up right sides together, not the wrong way. All right, like so. You can put a clip, like I don't use a ton of clips, but you can put a clip to like hold it in place where you want it. Okay, and then we're gonna open that, kind of finger press it to get it started. And then press that one down. Okay, and then we're going to do this one. What did I do here? I have some of the seam. I'm going to clip that out. It's going to be covered up by my carrot, I'm sure, which is good. All right, so find where my seams meet. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're going to just finger press that out and press down, and I'll show you the center star. It's also kind of like, well, kind of like, you know, like with a puzzle or with like paint by number, where it's like it reveals itself, and like that part is such a fun part of it. I don't know if, and that's just me being a geek, I guess, being a nerd, but I enjoy that part of it of like, oh, look at it. So, oh my gosh, he's so cute. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to put my sides on. Oh, that is so fun. It just does something different than bag making for me. I don't know how to explain it. And like, it also has made me want to do more quilty inspired bags. It's so fun. Okay, let's do this side. For those of you who are quilty, do you have, and those of you who follow me for a while, you kind of know my vibe, and like what I look for. Who are the designers or I don't know, the fabric that you like when it comes into the quilty world? I'm not promising that we're going to carry quilty fabrics like that, but I do feel like QuiltCon kind of opened my eyes to this whole other world. Not all of it do I feel like it resonates with me and our brand, but I love to know like what you guys like. That's, I mean, because I'm so new to it, it's also like fun to hear what other people like. So there's the two side pieces put on. Now we're going to put our top piece. I really enjoyed Jordan. Correct me if I'm wrong, if Jordan's still here. Jordan is the one who knows like all the names of everything. But I really enjoyed the Liberty Fabrics booth. So Liberty Fabrics, they're Liberty Fabrics of London, and it's a lot of florals, super pricey. Like if you think my dyed fabrics pricey, Liberty of London fabric, like the price of printed fat quarters was like, whoa. And the whole time I'm feeling it, I was like, this is like my cotton sateen. This is like almost exactly like my cotton sateen, not the luxe sateen, but the cotton sateen that I dye. So it really made me think about, you know, like if we wanted to do a floral collection, if I wanted to design a floral collection that was printed on the cotton sateen, because I definitely could probably do better pricing than the fat quarters there. But it was just that booth was full. Like there was never a time that Liberty of London was not full of people, which I thought was very interesting for florals, which I know don't ever really go out of style, but I feel like our cotton sateen is very similar to what their standard cotton feels like. Oh my goodness. Okay. anybody else have June bugs taking over their house, which is not, they look like ladybugs, but they're not ladybugs. We've been dealing with June bugs like crazy because we got so much rain there, and then it warmed up. And now this week we're supposed to get cold again. Big reveal coming up, you guys. There she is. There she is. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pull the paper out, and then I'm going to go and cut a 2.5 inch of dyed fabric border that we're going to just press and make this border that goes around it, okay? It is coming out great. It's really, my daughter's going to be so excited. And then we're going to add, we're going to add this carrot here. We're going to add this carrot to the center, I think. Maybe we'll add more than one. I don't know. We'll see once we're fully done. But we're gonna add a little carrot and then free motion stitch that on there. All right. So now we're just gonna pull out the fabric. I mean the paper, and this is such a cathartic, fun process. You know, you do want to be a little careful that you're not pulling out your stitches, but for the most part, it just pops right out. Especially if you were good about, which I have not always been, if you're good about trimming things down as you go. And if you're having difficulty getting the paper to come out, I would just suggest next time you do one to go down some stitch sizes, just like maybe another 10 or another 15. Just so that it's small enough that it's perforating, you know, the paper for you. So we're just going to rip the paper out of here. And I really have to thank Jordan for introducing me to this, because she's the friend that did the floral with my dyed fabric, and she kept saying to me, I think you'd really like FPP. And I was like, I don't have the time, Jordan, to add another thing. That's usually how a conversation with Jordan goes. Jordan, I don't have the time. I think you'd really like it. Then she goes and does it and uses some of our fabric, and I'm like, oh, I really like that, Jordan. So that's a good thing. It's such a good thing to have good sewing friends. You know, I'll admit there's been, you know, in every community you're part of, you'll meet people who you think, gosh, I really vibe with this person, and then in the end, it's just not. It's different. But then you meet people that you're like, where have you been my whole life? But they are really just meant to be here now. You know, like you were meant to meet people at very specific times, I personally believe. And Jordan is definitely one of those people in my life. Has so much knowledge when it comes to sewing. So if you don't follow Everyday Lions, you need to follow her. The hardest part is in between your seams. That's the hardest part to pull apart. I think I did pretty good this time of like making sure all my seams were going in the right place. What's everybody watching on TV lately or streaming? While I was doing the Women Before Us quilt, I was rewatching Poldark. That's probably like the third or fourth. I rewatch a lot of things because if I'm sewing and I'm watching something new, it's hard for me to not watch it. Like if I just put noise on in the background, that's just a show I've seen how many times, I end up like not getting sucked into it and not sewing. So I usually rewatch things when I'm sewing. Just to have the noise on there. I forgot how good Poldark was though. Like I forgot how the ending was like disappointing. If you watched it when the series was like popular, it was like, oh, they're going to end it? No, keep going. It was one of those. I guess Outlander, the new season for Outlander comes out soon. We were talking the other day, Deej and I. We think we're going to probably, any of our streaming services, we're probably going to cancel them for the summer this year just so that we're not tempted to sit in front of the TV. We have so much that we want to get done just around the house and in general. And I was like, oh, but we can watch it in the fall. So I just have to make sure that I'm not watching any spoilers for the last season of Outlander. Because that's one that Deej and I have watched together. We are currently watching on Hulu as well, Paradise with Sterling Brown from This Is Us. Really, really good. Really good show. My daughter's boyfriend likes to whistle. So if you hear whistles right now, that's my daughter's boyfriend. Usually watch Old Survivor and Dexter when you're sewing. Those are good. You've been rewatching, listening to Bridgerton, Veronica Mars, Big Bang Theory. That's a good one to watch when you're sewing. Give you a couple laughs here and there, right? I feel like this is the longest part, is pulling all the paper out. Especially on a block where you have like, or even like, I never even pulled the paper off of the loom that I did because it was a lot. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with the loom yet. So I was like, I'll wait till I know. Apollo saw something or someone. Two more to do, and then we're done here with this part. And I just use standard computer paper, but I think, isn't there a paper that's thinner that people use that they print on? I don't know. I feel like I saw that somewhere, but I just use my standard printer paper. I'm not buying another type of paper to do it. I'm watching you, but I'm cleaning up my tiny pasty butts. I'm not. You're funny. I don't really watch, it's funny because I'm here doing this and people watch, but I don't really watch a whole lot of YouTube sewing unless it's a pattern that I get that I'm like, oh, I want to watch somebody do a part of it. And I don't know why that is, but I really don't watch a lot of others. YouTube, what I watch on YouTube is meditation. That's usually like, I'm listening to like meditative music or like, what do they have? Like, it's like a studying session or whatever. And it's like a fireplace. And my husband watches a lot of YouTube stuff. Cause I was telling him about, like, everybody was really excited about me doing a live today, that I haven't done a live in a while. And he was like, that's so weird because I don't feel like YouTube does a lot of live stuff. And I was like, well, I think it's different because with sewing, it's kind of like we get to all be together here, right? Even though we're not together. And I said, I feel like the things he watches, like he watches a lot of like sawmilling and stuff like that. Like, it's not really something dudes do together. It is kind of a more solo type of thing that he's watching. So yeah, newsprint paper, kids doodle paper, Dollar Tree printer paper, all work well, thinner than regular printer copy paper. I'll have to check the Dollar Tree then. Amory, that's smart. Listen to music. FPP used to come in tissue paper. Oh, so like old school, right, Nicole? Kind of like our patterns used to come in that tissue paper. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. All right, so we have this piece is done. Now I'm gonna cut the border. Okay, so turn you guys back around. Move my drink again. Should probably drink some water. I have a big mess over here, so let's fold these up because we're not going to need these anymore. I did ask earlier in the week, and I'll ask you guys because this has kind of been something I've been thinking a lot about since QuiltCon, and because we are doing the Lancaster Quilt Show. And I don't plan on doing a bunch of shows. Like, one, I just don't have the energy for it. It's a lot of work to prepare for shows. And you guys know, like, this business, obviously, I want to make money. I need to make money. I have a kid in college. I have 2 other adult kids living here with us. We have mouths to feed. So yes, my business is to make money. But at the same time, I really am at the stage where this is something I want to be able to bring joy to people. So I'm trying to like build out the business in a way that we're providing the things that people like to have, but also make enough to make it through each year. And so doing a show or 2 helps, obviously, but I'm not someone who's going to be running around to all the shows everywhere. So when you go to those types of shows, what do you like to, like, what do you gravitate to? Do you gravitate to yardage? Do you gravitate to like fat quarter stuff, kits? Are you more of a kit person? Like, oh, if I can get everything in a kit, I'm going to grab that. You know, what do you kind of patterns? Like, do you look for patterns with things? I'd love to know for those of you that are here, because I really found like a lot of people have been saying to me that they've been buying more fat quarter packs. I saw that a lot at QuiltCon. I actually myself, that's what I grabbed, or like half yard packs of things. So yeah, I'd love to know what kind of what you gravitate to. Okay, so I need my dyed fabric, and I'm thinking, because I want the contrast of like the carrot, so I'm going to lay down my daughter's shirt. I want to kind of look at what this looks like together, because I know she loves this color of fabric, so I probably should use that. And I think that would probably look really good as the border because it'll pull the orange of the carrots, right? So I think that's what I'm going to do. The border is in this orange, tangerine, yellow color. So let's cut that. So I'm going to cut, grab my other ruler. I'm going to cut 2.5 inch pieces when I do it from this side here, because I have some heat bond on this side. I'm going to trim that off quick. Where did I put my cutter? Okay. Just trim that off and set that aside. And now we're going to do 2.5 inch, 4 of them. I'll use my big ruler. 4 of them so that I can piece that to make a border, and I can fold it over to tuck it underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the solar flare from last month. We still have some of this. This is in a poplin, which is really great for FPP. All right, so now I'm going to take these, and I think I'm going to open my other ironing board. It's just easier. Grab my iron. Oh, now my daughter's yelling at her boyfriend. They're arguing about something. They bicker, or she's bickering with her brother. One or the other. It's her brother. Oh. Oh. Do you hear? She's like going off on them. I think it's about the dishwasher or something. Oh my. So I'm just folding down one edge about a half of an inch, half of an inch. And pressing that down because that's the side that I'm going to be tucking under and appliquing onto the shirt. Oh. It's like one of those things as a mom. The things that she's arguing about usually are the things that I argued with her about. That's really that is a fulfilling part of motherhood. All right. So, like, she's telling someone else the things I told her that she argued with me about. Okay. I like half-yard packs with the option of buying yards. Yes. So I feel like the half-yard pack, that's just the hard part about half-yard packs for me as a shop owner is it's difficult to like know which ones to cut in half. So that was one thing. Like our booth at the quilt show right now is just a 10 by 10 booth. So it's fairly small. But if we paid to have a double booth, I have thought about having a cutting station that I could put things there to cut, because I did see at QuiltCon that there were some booths that had a cutting table that worked out that way, that were really nice. The only thing is what's at me as a buyer, sometimes like the lines and stuff, that just so deters me. Like I want to get in, get out. But I know some people just love standing in line looking at everything. So But half yard, I feel like half yard packs are really nice. I do like that as well. All right, so now I'm cutting my side pieces of this first, measuring those out. You couldn't just measure these pieces out because it is a 10 by 10 block, you guys. So you could just measure these out, but I just made these strips to make it easier for myself. So I'm just laying them along the side here. And now I'm gonna zip this edge off. And then we have our bottoms, which are going to be the longer bottom and the top. And I'm throwing things in places that I can't reach. My daughter definitely got her temper from my father-in-law. I feel like my father-in-law will be like, well, not temper, but just like no BS. Oh, okay. All right, so there we go. We have our border pieces all figured out. We're going to come back to the machine. Move my ironing board. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to do the side pieces first. And we're just going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance straight down through. We're going to do both sides like that. Okay, I'm going to press those seams so that it lays nice. The other day we thought Gunther, the cat, we thought he escaped and got out. And here he was locked in the attic. He was happy as could be because he was like, this is a new place I get to explore. But we were running outside looking for him. And there he was in the attic checking things out. Right, so there's, oh yeah, that definitely brightens everything up, doesn't it? Okay, I might actually turn this in one more time to be a little bit of a thinner. I think I'm going to do that. Okay. Did I not do that right? How did I not cut that right? What? How is that not correct? Did I grab the wrong ones over there? I might have grabbed the wrong pieces. Let's see. Nope. Okay, that makes no sense how that happened. But okay. We need to cut 2 more pieces. Okay. Well, I'm going to cut those 2. Well, no, I need this. I need this. All right. Goodness gracious. What is it? Measure twice, cut once. That's what we're supposed to do. Anybody actually do that? I feel like sometimes I do. And even then, I still get it wrong sometimes. Okay. Oh, I think that's probably what I did wrong. Okay, I see now. Yep. That's all right. I can always use that other stuff I cut for another FPP or for some carrots. For whatever else, I'm going to use the other carrots that I got, that I cut out. All right, so we're going to add this piece to the top. Add this piece to the bottom. I told my daughter we should have done one with peanuts because that's what I call her. And she's 6'1", by the way. Well, almost 6'1". I've always called her Peanut. So I'm like, we should have really done one with peanuts. Okay. Now I'm gonna press those. Let's go to the big one. It's easier. Okay. Open these. Let's press nice. And then I'll do my border so I get all that pressed correctly. All right, so now I'm just going to, hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to fold in my sides and press those first so that I get that nice and crisp. And because I think I'm going to do a ruffle on this one, I'm thinking I might stitch the ruffle on the patch on the block first. That way it's down. I don't have to worry about it trying to come up while I'm stitching it on the t-shirt. So I think we might do that first, is put the ruffle on. So let's see how we need to do that, because that's not something I've done before. With the bind, I mean, I've done a ruffle with binding and dyed on a heart-shaped bag. If you guys saw that at Valentine's Day. So that's kind of like my thought process behind this, is to do something like that. Oh, that was Apollo. That wasn't anybody slamming the door on me. That was Apollo and the cat playing, and then the cat jumps at the door and Apollo jumps at the door, and then it slams the door. That's the newest game we're playing. Yep, and now Apollo's like, Mom, I need you to let me in because I'm locked out. Let me go open the door for him. All right, so we have that all ironed the way we need it. Come on, you lock yourself out? Come on up. Yes. Oh, and there's your buddy. And now they're going to tear up my bed probably. All right, so we have our block like so. Now, where is it? I grabbed some 1-inch binded and dyed because I thought it would be cool, since it's a dark purple purple t-shirt, to do a ruffle of binded and dyed along the outside of this block. So I'm gonna grab my pins, Apollo, and we're going to just do like almost like a pleated ruffle. think, and just kind of see. I'm just going to do it across the top to kind of see if I like it. I think it'll be cute, but we need to make sure this is where my neuroticness comes out, because it has to look good. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab some double-sided tape that'll actually help hold it down. Good idea, Jenna. Where's my little scissors? All right, so we're going to double-sided tape along the top here. Hold this pleat down, well, the fold down at the top. Okay. And then that will hold this down. So I can make the pleats or ruffles let's see how this looks when we're done here. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Okay, cool. Once I get it all on, you guys, I'll show you what I'm doing. Well, there you can kind of see how to look. Okay. That little bit of double-sided tape too. I might have to put more on, but that'll also help with holding this down on the shirt as well. Okay. And if you want any binded and dyed, now's your time to grab it, because we're taking all the colors to the quilt show, and I won't be dyeing, you know, like I'll be dyeing binded and dyed over the summer, but we won't really post any new binded and dyed probably until closer to the fall. So if there's any colors you really want to snag or sizes, I definitely recommend doing that now, because I think tomorrow we're going to finish all of the print stuff that we have to get barcoded and moved over into the inventory for the show. And then after that, we're going to start on the dyed fabric, and then binding and dyed and the tags will be last of what we're taking with us. So all right, definitely gonna be allergy season. I can feel it already. Sorry for the sniffles. Come on. Go. And in here, I also want to add, so along the next side, I'm going to add my little Thunderbird handcrafted tag woven label. Okay, don't get stuck on it. This will really make it pop on the darker purple shirt. I'm excited to see it. This is a great way to use bind and dyed. I know, like Jordan used it to do one of those bow, like side bow sweaters, like an applique. But there's so many uses for bind and dyed. And we are going to have, we did order for the new season with bind and dyed. We did order 3/8 inch that you can use for shoelaces or for like the part of like your hoodie, like hoodie strings. So we will have a smaller size next fall as well, which is fun. The fun thing about doing a t-shirt like this is it's meant to look homemade, you know? It's not meant to look like it's, you know, not that store stuff is perfect either. It's supposed to look homemade. So don't, I'm saying this really for myself. Don't get over picky about like our things, like the correct distance from each other and all that fun stuff. Just make it the way you want to make it. Okay. Oh, I want that to be straight though. Okay. Almost done. Okay, so there's the end of it. So I kind of want to fold that piece in like so with this piece. Yeah, cute. All right, I am going to put, pins are right in front of you, Jenna. I'm going to put a pin through this part just to hold it. like so. But there you guys can see, let this up a bit. You can see how cute. Oh my gosh, it's going to be adorable on the front of the shirt. Okay, so now I'm going to iron my shirt a little bit just to get placement correct. And then I want to find the center top. So I'm just going to iron a little bit of a crease there just so I can see it. And then I'm pretty sure I did like 2 inches down from the top on this one. So I'm going to find that and mark it. Where is my marking pen? And I'm like right underneath the collar stitches. That's where I'm putting my markings. Okay. Does that look right? It doesn't look right. Why does it not look right? Why does it not look centered? That's very strange to me. Why? Let's see. So that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. That's why. Okay. All right. So now I want to just lay it here and just kind of gauge for myself. Is that where I want it to be? I think so. That looks good. I don't know if I want to, since the ruffle's there, do I want to bring it down a little bit and like have the ruffle be kind of the top and not the actual block? I think that might look better. Then the ruffle isn't like at her neck too far. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to lay it here on my big table so I can lay the whole thing out and like pin all of it. Okay. So I have a spider web of cords and fabric and all the things. So let me just get rid of some of that stuff. Don't need that anymore. I might need that. Don't need that. Don't need this. Okay. So just like so. Super cute. Okay, do I want to put, I think I'm going to put double-sided tape down because it did really, instead of doing pins, because a lot of this is pretty thick, and to get the pins to stay exactly where I want it to be, I might still put a pin in the center, but I think I'm going to put double-sided tape right along the inside of the ruffle. That way it kind of holds my block exactly where I need it to stay. So let me, I don't really need the really thick double-sided tape. So I'll grab my 1/4 inch and we'll, because some of my double-sided tape is sticking out, but not enough to like hold it down so that it doesn't zhuzh. And we want it to be straight, right? I know I have like an orange thread, which I might actually use orange because I think that would be a pretty good contrast to the purple, to the light purple. I'll have to look and see what I got. Okay. Now we're gonna lay this like so. Make sure that all my pleats are going in the right direction. This down here doesn't look very good. I'm gonna change that. There we go. Okay. All right. Let me grab a pin to just stick in that center, just to hold, make sure I'm secured, and then I'll hold it up for you guys. Don't go through the whole thing, Jenna. How cute. Oh my gosh. She's going to love it. All right. So there it is. We're going to applique down around the outside. We're just going to do a decorative stitch all around the outside. So let me get my cutting board. I mean, not my cutting board, my ironing board. Sorry for the squeaky. She's old. She probably needs some WD-40. And then let's look for what color thread we're going to use. How's everybody doing? Still with me? Maybe, maybe not. It is so cute. If I wasn't in Canada, I would be your best customer. Oh, Nicole, you're awesome. Listen, I appreciate that a lot. I'm just happy for the community. To be really honest, like, if that's the sale, like if you want to look at it that way, if that's the sale I get by having people who aren't here, I would love to sell to Canada. I've looked into it so many times because there's so many of you, actually, women and sewists from Canada that I've had conversations with in DMs. I've been to Quebec and I've been to Montreal. Those are the only two places. I would love to do a tour of Canada. I feel like definitely my husband's in my vibes. It's just the way things are right now. I would hate to charge you that much for shipping. Like, I just think it's so ridiculous to charge that much for shipping, to be able to get it to you. So I appreciate that. But I really appreciate you more than that. I appreciate you just being here and sewing with us and making community together. All right, let's find what color. So I'm going to take my little deck thing off. And let's see what colors we got. So I have this really like bright orangey yellow, which kind of, that works. I have a purple. No, that it really isn't the purple of the shirt, but it's a darker purple. Let's see. I have this misty purple, which is more to what our ruffle is, this misty purple color. And I think, and I mean, I also have this that is kind of like more of a peach. What do you guys think? I also have this that is like a red orange. Let me hold them up and you guys tell me what you would. Should I lay them on the shirt and then tilt you guys so you can see? Let's do that. I feel like the really dark purple is more blue than it is purple. So there you guys can see. What do you think? Tell me. I kind of am leaning more like either this or like I kind of go with like what's like good contrast, I think. These two I feel like we won't even see at all, right? This I feel is too much. Let me know in the comments what you think. I kind of feel like either this really dark red orange or this yellow orange. I kind of want to lean towards the yellow orange, I think. Kind of want to lean towards the yellow orange, even though, I mean, because there is the yellow orange of the carrot. There's the light yellow of the background of the gardening. And then there's the yellow that's in the dyed that's along the outside. Canada is amazing. We go at least once a year. I hope you all get a chance to visit sometime. If you do a retreat or show in Canada, that's very true. Well, my Canadian people need to tell me what are the good ones to go to, because like, you know, it's such an investment to go do one, but I would love to know. I mean, I'm game for that. I'm totally game for that. So let me know what are the good shows in Canada. All right. I think I'm doing this yellow, you guys. That's what I think we're doing. And we'll see. I think she'll like that. I think my daughter will be happy with that. I think I need to turn the fan on soon. It's getting warm up here. Okay, let's turn the fan on and let's start stitching this pretty ruffly girl. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to go half on. What's up, buddy? Apollo's talking to us now. Do you need someone to take you out, buddy? I think you should go talk to the kids. They'll take care of you. Okay. So I have some decorative stitches. Just have to find them. Hi, bud. Hi. What's up? And the stitch that I'm doing is it looks like an E. Like that's the stitch that I like to do to stitch it down. Oh, Jordan's yellow orange. Sheila's dark orange. I think what I'm going to use the dark orange for actually is doing the applique of the carrot, because that'll really make like the lines stick out for the carrot. So I think I'm still going to use this for that part. Go down to the kiddos, buddy. Go ahead. All right, here we go. I'm just going to stitch it on. I'm going to go all the way around. Yeah, the yellow orange looks good right next to the purple. It looks good. And make sure that you're not like turning or pulling the t-shirt any one way or direction. I think I need to lift my applique foot up a little bit higher. There we go. All right, we're going to turn this direction. We're going to make sure that everything is staying straight. I'm not catching the other part of the shirt. You know what this reminds me of doing, even though it's a very different process? I remember like the bubble paint sweatshirts in the 90s. They were very much like the craft to make. I feel like this could become that, and you end up with a whole wardrobe of FPP patch t-shirts. Sure that I'm not need a little bit more space. Pull this pin out that I had holding the raw edge down. Okay. Now we go across the top. Make sure we're not catching anything. Really need to lift my, I don't want to lift it too much though that I'm not catching, but the pleats are really thick, so there we go. A little bit down. Okay. Moment of truth. Let's hope we didn't stretch anything too much that it looks wonky. One more row. This is pretty thick here. Oh, goodness gracious. Did we mess something up? Yes. I have a fold of the t-shirt here. And that's, where did it start? Oh, good girl. Let's fix this. Alrighty. Well, we have some ripping to do. It's definitely harder with that adding that ruffle. Of course, I had to make it harder for myself, you know, but it's not that much to fix. So just don't want to rip the shirt. I think if I would have pinned some of the ruffle down along the outside to hold it, you know, where it needs to be held, that might have helped to not have things like fold under. I'll show you what happened here. Hold on, let me get these stitches. So at least have a starting point to pull it out. But if you see here, it started folding under the t-shirt, which I don't want that. So of course on the last round where I was like feeling confident, right? That's how it works, you guys. Everything is fixable. So we're going to fix it. Yeah, it's like right here is where it started. There we go. Of course, it's a decorative stitch, so it's not one, you're not picking one thing. Oh, lovely. There we go. Yeah, I think if I would have pinned the ruffle down, then I could have made sure underneath. Because like I have some pulling of the shirt underneath here, but it's not bad that it's like gonna really rearrange like the size of the shirt. But this here, there's too much. So I need to definitely pick this part out. The thing with a t-shirt is you don't want to get any of the threads of the t-shirt. I had someone message me. It was a couple weeks ago that I never curse when I'm ripping things out. And I don't know. I just, in my head, I'm cursing. I don't really ever say it out loud when I'm cursing in my head. It's mostly just, yeah. I'm annoyed. If you don't think I'm annoyed, I am. I don't think I ever, my nanny maybe. She liked a certain S word. My other grandmother, though, I don't think I ever remember her cursing when she was sewing, though. And she would have been the one I would have thought maybe would have, but my Nana, I think she did favor a certain S word. For mistakes, when mistakes happen. Hopefully I'm not catching any shirt here. Hopefully. I don't want that to show. I'm just getting the outside of the decorative stitch, and then I'll have to go in between and get the rest of it. We're so close. Should have checked for the last part that everything was shifted the right direction. Okay. Now I think I can go in here now and catch, yeah. Such a small stitch.
You old rascal. Oh, here comes Kitty. Kitty likes you. Yeah, you and Kitty get along. Yeah.
While talking to a pop and the cat. Gosh, it's such a small stitch. I don't want to rip it. There we go. Getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Keep my patience. Don't get rammy, Jenna. There we go. Anybody have vacations planned for the summer already? We are going to do a camping trip with our kids and my mother-in-law. We rented a cabin in New York at one of the state parks that we took the kids when they were little. So we're going to do that in July, beginning of August. And then my best friend and I, we were going to go on a Disney cruise. And we decided not to do that. And then because we were like, well, we both kind of, my best friend is a little nervous about traveling. So I needed her to have a good time, even though I wasn't super nervous about it. And it was Disney. She was a little nervous about it. So we decided we're going to do a New England road trip together. and go to fabric stores and thrift shops because she likes to go thrifting and antiquing and stuff. So we're going to go where I used to live up in Maine and just do Route 1. So we're going to do that in June. She's a school teacher, so we're going to wait till she's out of school. All right, how much more do I got to go here? Oh, my. Not too bad. Just don't want to. I could applique a carrot over any holes. Ripping stitches out, tricky. Yes, I know. Because there's definitely a hole there that I'm going to have to fix. My daughter, she's loved everything I made her, so I'm not too worried. She knows that I'll make it look great for her. But if you do decide to do the ruffle, I would definitely recommend pinning the ruffle, like checking underneath that everything is straight. I should have done that. Because I really do like the ruffle. It's cute, but it's a little bit harder to gauge, like, where is the fabric underneath it? You know what I mean? Oh, my kids must be out of their car. Like about an inch or so left that I have to rip out. Come on, show me your little stitches here. There we go. It did feel really thick over here. That should have been my first indication. Like, I had to really lift my presser foot. Oh, if send some good vibes to my daughter's boyfriend. We think we found a job that he would really, really like that is in his field. He also went to school for biology, and there's these outdoor crew members for the state parks in Pennsylvania, and he's going to apply for that this week. So we're hoping that he can get something in his field that he really likes. So send some good vibes out his way for Alex to find something. He's working with my husband right now. My husband's a maintenance mechanic at a warehouse, so Alex is working at the warehouse right now, which is definitely not what he'd like to do, but it's paying his school loans. So send some good vibes out for Alex. Hopefully it works in his favor to get it. The hardest thing is finding something that pays, like what he can, still pay his student loans. So this pays really pretty much what he's making now. So has a little bit more travel, but it's what he wants to do. So, okay, I think let me kind of look at it from this side. Ugh. I'm going to need to put a carrot hiding behind that part of oh, yeah. It needs a carrot along the side, you guys. It's going to be fine. But definitely t-shirts do not like a seam ripper. Okay, let's get some pins. And I'm going to just pin that where it needs to go along the side there, so that we're not having to pick out again. And then we'll put a carrot there, and we'll put a carrot like someplace that we'll applique some carrots so she doesn't even know, right? Riches and shows are difficult in Canada because of the country's vastness. Tara Sinclair from Creations would be the person to speak to. Oh, yeah. My Whimsy heard your Apollo, and now she's looking for them all. I'm sorry. My one grandmother never cursed. My paternal grandmother had a mouth. I inherited the same mouth. Nicole. Ripping stitches. Yes. Yeah, my Nana, it's funny because when Izzy was little, my Nana, who is she was the proper one that's why I'm saying, like, my mom's mom, I would have thought I would have heard more cursing from her, to be really honest. But I didn't. My dad's mom, I can remember Isabella was maybe 3. She was staying with us. And like I said, she preferred a certain S word, my Nana. And one day, Isabella, she was like 3. I think she was like 3 or 4. Just learning to talk. So probably 3. Probably just like becoming 3. And Isabella dropped something and said the S word. And I was like, and I don't use that, very often. And I was like, oh, guess we need to start using sugar, Nana. I'm going to have to really trim all of this. Let me trim these little threads off before we start here. All right. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Let's try this again. All right, come up this way. All right, like like right here. We're gonna hold it so that those pieces okay. Let's try this again. Okay. So now that we had our little boo-boo, let me lay this out over on my table. There we go. Let me lay it on the table and just see. Because I don't think it's shifted. I think, yeah, I mean, it's still, like, as far as, like, how the shirt is, it's okay. It's just we are going to need to, Mama needs a cover up where she poke some holes in. So, let's look at what carrots I have. And we'll go from there. All right, so do have like this color carrot because I could just applique it like kind of off the like that the like I'm putting down some of the ruffle, you know what I mean? So I could put one there. Let's see, what do we got? Because I was going to do this one in the center. Let me see how that looks. And then I could just put the whole bunch, like the bunch of carrots I was going to do on the one side. But then I feel like maybe this should have more carrots in here. Or maybe I just do the whole bunch of carrots on the one side. Like not put anything in the center. Yeah. That kind of works. Let me see what I got here. How I would space that out. I feel like that kind of is the best option because it kind of just, it looks then like a bunch of carrots that's along the side, right? I'm going to have to do it in layers. So we're going to because that's kind of like what she wanted, was like a bunch of carrots. Like it was like a bunched of carrots. I don't know if it looks too much. I think these have to go last. So if I do these 2 bigger carrots first, like that, and then I'm looking at what color things I have over here. Yeah, I'll do those first, stitch those down with free motion, and then I'll add some little ones in there. Yeah, I think that'll be cute. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm going to lift this up so you guys can see. So see how I kind of have it to the side here? And then I can add, because like I have some other colored carrots, I could add the little ones, like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 little ones. And then that new tool that I got that allows me to use yarn, I could actually tie the bunch of carrots together on the side here with a bow. What do you guys think? I think that will look cool. Since I mean, you guys are welcome to stay, but this is definitely going to take a decent amount of time. At least we got through the quilted FPP block and got it stitched to the shirt. Now it's really the free motion. Like what I do when I'm doing these appliques, like I did my tomato pants, was I'm going to iron down the larger pieces first, stitch those down with free motion quilting, then move back, then get the next layer, stitch that down with free motion quilting, and so forth until it's all done. So I think that's what I'm going to do to cover up my little holes that I made from ripping, and it'll work just fine. Anne-Marie, I feel you. The kitty quilt jacket I made last week had so many mistakes. I call it my cattywampus coat. Anne-Marie, that's wonderful. So that's what I'm going to work on the rest of the day. I'm actually going to go eat some lunch, and then finish this up. I'll promise that I'll get her to put it on and take some pictures, and I'll post it over on my Instagram. But I hope that this little live tutorial of FPP and like the simpleness of like starting with a block was helpful for those of you who are not FPP people. I hope it helps you want to become one, because it really is a really great rendition of our hobby of sewing. I think it's a great alternative, and it's different than what maybe some of you who are bag makers. It kind of takes you outside of that and has you, doing something different. Like I said, we do have currently going on the Women Before Us collection that does provide you in the Quilt Lovers kit. So the quilt kit, you do receive the block pattern in all the different sizes, as well as the border pattern in all the different sizes with that kit. If you wanted to do something with the Women Before Us and the quilt, I also think this is perfect for my quilted tote bag. You could use the FPP and the borders to do the quilted tote bag. You could also there's so much that you can do with these blocks. I think that there's a variety of things. And I also think it would be really great for those of you who do auctions, having it be the representation of the different women from, oh gosh, I'm going to forget all their names. Amelia Earhart, and this is, oh my gosh, Anne Frank. Who else we got? We have Marie Curie, the scientist. We have RGB. We have Joan Goodall. and Susan B. Anthony, Sojourner Truth, and Marie Ko. And then the bottom ones I have here, if I can show them to you, are Maya Angelou and Princess Diana. So those are all 10 of the 10-inch blocks that come in the Quilt Lovers kit. So definitely check that out if you want to try and start foundation paper piecing, because it comes with the kit. Sheila, you have a great day as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, don't forget that there is a coupon code until tonight at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time for my dyed fabric. I have that going across the bottom here for 15% off my dyed fabric. So take advantage of that until the end of tonight. And then, like I said, this week we're going to be getting that dyed fabric. All of our binded and dyed, that will be coming down off of the website to go to the quilt show in Lancaster. If you are within driving distance of the Lancaster Lebanon Quilt Show, I hope that you'll come by and visit us. We're in booth 501. And so it's like almost like if it's set up how it was last year, where all the classes are and the one hallway where all the quilts are displayed, we're at like the very end of that. So you can come and visit us. Me and my mother-in-law will be there. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a great rest of your Sunday.